you can draw this in Procreate. You can draw or actually animate this in Procreate. There won't be a lot of drawing this time, and it will be super easy because I have created these free fireworks brushes. You can get them by going to FreeFromFlo.com. There you can sign up for my newsletter and you will get an email with a link to a download page. So if you are already signed up for my newsletter, then you already have that link. And on the special treasure chest download page, you can download a lot of brushes, including these fireworks brushes, but also color palettes, a prompt list, and my special ebook about color theory. And yes, it's absolutely free. And once you have got those free Procreate brushes, and once you have followed this animation tutorial all the way till the end, then don't forget to share your work on Instagram. There on Instagram, you can tag me in the image or video, not just in the description, because that way I will be able to find your work and perhaps we'll see it in the next You Can Draw This video. Or you can animate this. Also, don't forget that if things are going too fast for you, then you can always hit that pause button or replay some parts of the video. Just take your time and I'm sure you can do this. First of all, our canvas is 2300 pixels by 3000 pixels. But for this animation, you can also play around with different formats. This time I haven't created a color palette because I think you can just go wild with the colors for this fireworks animation. First thing we'll do for our animation is set a background color. Let's go to the layer menu and click background color. And we can go to the disk and pick a very dark color. You can go for a very dark blue, or you can also go for pure black. If you want pure black, you can just double tap here at the bottom to have pure black. I'm going for a little bit lighter, a very dark blue. And now we are going to create layers. Super easy. We are going to create 15 layers. That will just save us time later. So let's just click the plus until we have 15 layers. I told you this was an easy tutorial. There we have 15 layers. Let's go to the first one, layer 1 over here. When you create an animation in Procreate, each layer or each layer group will be a frame in your animation. So layer 1 is our first frame. Now to get started creating an animation, you'll have to go to the wrench, then to canvas, and turn on animation assist. And then you'll have this little bar pop up at the bottom of your screen. And here you can see all the frames in your animation. Let's click the wrench to get out of that menu. And here you can see these options. You can play your animation. Well, we don't have anything yet, so nothing will happen. You can add a frame, which actually means that you'll add a layer to your layer menu. And you can go to settings. Here in the settings, you can set the loop, ping pong, or one shot settings. Loop means that your animation will play again and again and again in an infinite loop. Ping pong means it is like a ping pong. You'll go from the first frame to the last and then back to the first, like a ping pong match. And one shot just means one shot. Your animation will play one time only. Here you see the frames per second. That's how fast your animation will run. We will go for 4 frames per second. And here you can see the onion skin frames. Now let's say you're working on frame 6. These onion skin frames, those are the layers underneath your layer, underneath the frame you're working on. And if you have onion skin frames, you'll see a transparent version of the previous frames. That way it's easier to work on your animation, but you'll see while we work on this animation, you'll see how these onion skin frames work. You can also set the onion skin opacity here. Let's just get started so you can see how this works. Let's go to our first brush. You can find it here in the treasure chest brush pack. We'll start with sprinkle 1. That's our first frame for our firework. And now let's pick a color. Let's start with a nice golden color, but you can pick whatever color you like. The opacity of this brush is set to 100% and the size of the brush is at 30%. And that's the case for all of these brushes. And now let's set our first frame. I'll put it in the upper left corner, not entirely, well, right next to the edge, of course. We need some space. So let's put it here. And then we'll go to the next frame. You can either go to layer 2 here, or you can click the next frame over here. It doesn't really matter. And then we'll pick sprinkle 2. And right now you can see that onion frame. You can see our first layer, but it's a bit more transparent. And now we can easily click our second image, our second frame on top of it. Then we'll go to the next layer, layer 3. And on layer 3, we will use sprinkle 3. It's super easy. And then click on top of it. And we will continue doing this for each frame. So for layer 4, we'll go to sprinkle 4. Click on top of it. Then we'll go to layer 5. And for our brush, we'll pick sprinkle 5. Then we'll go to layer 6. Don't forget to pick a new layer every time. And then we'll go to sprinkle 6. Click on top of it. And then we'll go to layer 7. Pick sprinkle 7. It's super easy, but it's a whole lot of fun to create an animation like this. Let's go to layer 8. And you can guess it, sprinkle 8. Then we'll go to layer 9. And you can see multiple onion skin frames here. If you go to settings and turn this down, you can see that right now we have 2 onion skin frames, so you can see the previous 2 frames. But I will just turn it to max, and that's 12 onion skin frames. Now where were we? We were going to sprinkle 9, because as you can see, we are on layer 9. Let's click on top. Then we'll go to layer 10. And use sprinkle 10. Then we'll go to layer 11 and pick sprinkle 11. And then we'll go to layer 12, but here we'll do something different. At the end with the fireworks, you can see some sprinkles, like it lasts a bit longer than the first part of the kaboom, you know what I mean? So that lasts a little bit longer, so I want to go back to sprinkle 10 and put that on top. Then we'll go to layer 13 and then we'll go to sprinkle 11 again. So it's going back and forth between these little sprinkles. Click on top. Then we'll go to layer 14. And we'll end with sprinkle 12. Now you might notice that I have another layer, layer 15, but we'll keep that one empty. That's like a pause frame, a pause for our firework before it will loop back to layer 1 again. And you can actually play the animation by clicking play to see what your firework looks like. Then just click pause to get back to creating your animation. Of course, we don't just want one piece of firework, we want multiple colors, multiple fireworks, so let's create more. If you want more variation and the type of fireworks, by the way, then you can check out my brand new brush set with all types of fireworks for animations like this one. We don't want our fireworks to go off at the exact same moment, we want some variation there. So for this next one, we won't start at layer 2, But let's, for instance, start at layer 3. And then we'll start with sprinkle 1 again. And let's also pick another color. Let me pick a blue one. I'll go for this bright blue. And like I said, with sprinkle 2. And let's create another firework here on the right side. And we'll just do the same thing that we did for our first one. So now we'll go to the next layer. This time that's layer 4. And we'll go to sprinkle 2. So don't let yourself get confused here. Layer 5 will be the third one. So you have to keep an eye on where you are at in the animation. Continue going to the next layer and to the next brush and repeat these steps. Now we're at layer 8, going for sprinkle 6. Layer 9 will be sprinkle 7. Layer 10 will be sprinkle 8. Then we have layer 11, that will be sprinkle 9. Then a layer 12 will have sprinkle 10. Layer 13 will be sprinkle 11. And then we'll do that same trick that we did earlier. So at layer 14, we'll go back to sprinkle 10. And at layer 15, we'll go for sprinkle 11 again. And now we'll go to layer 1. And there we'll go for sprinkle 12. And now we can check our animation again by clicking play. And you can see that these don't quite exactly match their timing, so there's a little bit of variation here. Let's create more fireworks. For our second fireworks, we started at layer 3. Now for the next one, let's start at layer 8, for instance. Let's pick another color. Let's go for a reddish pinkish color this time. And again, we'll start with sprinkle 1. And now let's make one over here. We'll go to the next layer. And we will repeat these steps, going from sprinkle 1 to sprinkle 2. Then we'll go to sprinkle 3. Then to layer 11 for sprinkle 4. Layer 12 will be sprinkle 5. Layer 13 is sprinkle 6. And layer 14 is sprinkle 7. Layer 15 is sprinkle 8. And then we'll go back to layer 1. And then we'll go to sprinkle 9. Now we can't really see that final sprinkle that we just did. So if you want to see that, then you might need to turn off a couple of layers so you can easily see that layer 15 that we just created. I can click on top of it. And once you have that, you can turn these layers back on and move on to layer 2 here. And go to sprinkle number 10. At layer 3, we'll have sprinkle 11. And at layer 4, we'll do that same trick and go back to sprinkle 10. And then we'll move on to layer 5 to go back to sprinkle 11 again. And then we'll end the animation of this pink firework with sprinkle 12. Now you can continue creating colorful fireworks and fill your entire canvas. Just make sure that you keep enough space around your firework so we can later select them. You'll see what we'll do then. I think you know what to do now, so let me speed up these steps and create some colorful fireworks really fast. And then finally, on layer 15, we'll have sprinkle 12. Now let's finally check out our animation by clicking play. I think this is really looking very festive. Let's click pause. Right now, all of our animations are the same size, and I want to vary the size a little bit. Of course, you could have done this during the animation process, but then you'd have to change the brush size for every single brush every time, and that will be a lot of work. So we aren't going to save time here. What we'll be doing is selecting all of the layers by swiping to the right on each layer. Make sure that you select every single layer. Then you can close the layer menu, and we are going to the selection tool, that's the S-shaped ribbon, and set it to freehand. And now with the freehand selection, you can select one of these fireworks, going around it. Make sure that you have enough space there. Once you have this selection, you can go to the move tool, that's the arrow. And while you have it set to uniform, let's turn off snapping if you have it turned on. And now you can make your fireworks bigger or smaller, whatever you want. I'm going to make it bigger and move it up a little bit. Let's say here. And then you can click the arrow again to get out of that menu. And you can do this for all of the fireworks. Let's go to the selection tool again and select this one. Click that circle and then go to the arrow. And let's make this one a little bit smaller. And then we can move it here, for example. And then click the arrow again to get out of the menu. Then go to the selection tool again, the S-shaped ribbon. Now I'd like to select this one. Click that circle, and I want to make this one bigger. So click the arrow, make it bigger by moving these handles. Let's go for something like this, then click the arrow to get out of the menu. Then go to the selection tool again, the S-shaped ribbon. Now I'd like to select this one. Click the circle, then go to the arrow. Now let me move this one over here, make it a little bit bigger. Like that. Then click the arrow again and click the S-shaped ribbon again to make a selection again. Let me select that pink one. Click the circle, then click the arrow. And let's move this one to the bottom. Over here, then click the arrow, click the S-shaped ribbon again. Now we'll select that purple one over here. Click that circle, then the arrow. Let's make this one a little bit bigger. Perhaps, yeah. You can also make it smaller. Now let's go for bigger. Bigger the better. And now let's go back to that pink one over here. So I'll go back to the S-shaped ribbon. Click that little circle. Then the arrow. Let's make this one a little bit bigger as well. I think we have a nice balance going on here. Let's click the arrow and let's check our animation. Let's click play. Yes, I think we have a nice balance and nice animation here. So you can use the 4-finger tap on your screen and enjoy your animation. You can even pinch like this and fill your entire screen. I hope you have enjoyed following this You Can Draw This tutorial, or actually You Can Animate This tutorial. I hope you'll enjoy these fireworks brushes, and I'm looking forward to seeing lots of colorful firework animations on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.